What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Former Insight Podcast with your host, Maddox. You ain't my mother. You ain't my father. I just wanted to say that for no reason. But on a more serious note, I forgot to cover this I ain't forget to cover it. I was kind of busy. But this topic, this lunatic that ran over those people and shooting those people, unaliving them. I think it was 15 people in New Orleans. This dude right here is what you call the devil. How can you wake up one day and decide to go on a rampage like if they were playing Grand Theft Auto in real life? This is wild to me. RIP to the people out there, man, who lost their lives. And my condolences to the family. But this guy right here is matter of fact, let's get into the video, man.
Sudden terror on Bourbon Street.
There were just bodies and the screams. You cannot think about, unhear that. It was chaos and very, very scary.
Everything in the car is hitting, it's getting thrown.
The vehicle ran through a crowd of people. There's multiple injuries, multiple casualties. Benicia Canal in Bourbon.
Just hours after the clock struck midnight, the driver in a pickup truck went around barricades, according to police, killing those celebrating New Year's Eve along the iconic street. At least 15 people were killed, dozens others injured.
This is not just an act of terrorism. This is evil.
The suspect, identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old man from Texas who previously served in the U.S. military. He was driving a privately rented pickup truck from Turo, an Airbnb-type rental site for cars.
An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle, and the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations.
Once the vehicle stopped, the driver reportedly opened fire on responding police officers.
Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and transported to local hospitals.
Tragic day, man. Tragic day. Tragic day. Let's look at this guy's face. Let's look at how he was speaking. Because it should tell you that a lot of people who speak well and look normal may be a lunatic.
Shamsuddin Jabbar was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas. He graduated from...
You hear that? He was born and raised in Texas.
Shamsuddin Jabbar was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas. He graduated from Georgia State University and served in the U.S. military.
Been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service.
Other soldiers who served with him as an IT specialist in the Army Signal Corps say he was the top of his IT class at Fort Gordon, Georgia.
I mean, from day one, you can tell that his knowledge in the IT field was better than everyone else's.
Peter Heap served 6 years in the Louisiana National Guard and the last 18 years on active duty as an Army sergeant. He took an IT class with Jabbar in 2010, and for the next decade or more, they remained Facebook friends.
I still thought that he was still a somewhat good guy. He was genuine, he was nice.
In 2020, he made this video about his budding career as a real estate agent in Houston, Texas.
What really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator.
And public records show that Jabbar remained an active American citizen after his honorary discharge from the military, voting in the 2020 presidential election. Heap said Jabbar used to make pro-Islamic posts on Facebook, but nothing radical.
I would not categorize him as being a Muslim extremist at that time when I knew him. Not at all. I think sometime between when I knew him and now, he got radicalized.
Now, the FBI says Jabbar's the same man who drove a pickup truck with an ISIS flag mounted in the back and committed a heinous act of terror.
Let me calm down for a second. For the people out there who are saying, oh, he had to come across the border, don't believe what people say, he's not a citizen. Just because someone is Muslim, right? They put it out there. Also want to do some crazy terrorist attack on people don't mean that they're not American. Terrorists do not equate to immigration. I'm a lot of people out there who say, oh yeah, the Muslim from across the country, the Muslim outside the country came into his country doing terrorist attacks. No. He was homebred. He was born and raised in America. He is literally an American. And he's a terrorist. We gotta start calling him what it is, man. This man was a terrorist, man. That shit wild to me, man. This guy decides to, I don't know what's in his mind, what's on his mind. He wake up to decide to ruin families and individual lives and take lives at the same time. A video came out of a survivor of that night. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Alexis Scott Wyndham rang in the new year on Bourbon Street with 7 other friends from Mobile. She says they were getting ready to grab a bite to eat before calling it a night when chaos erupted in the street.
We heard something go boom, 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 and people were screaming, and I looked to the left, and a truck was coming down like the street, and he was halfway on the sidewalk too. He was just running people over like it was nothing.
She says the truck the terrorist was driving hit her and knocked her to the ground. At first, Alexis thought maybe the truck ran over her foot or she broke her ankle. But as she tried to get up and run away, she saw blood pouring out. Her best friend by her side FaceTime with Alexis' mother, Trifina.
Once she called me and I looked at it, I said, that's a bullet wound. I said, look, get that other sock you got on the other foot, take it off, tie it up tight so that she won't be bleeding so heavy, so bad.
Alexis says about that time, a Good Samaritan and his girlfriend offered to take Alexis and her friend to the hospital.
And that's when I saw all the dead bodies on the ground. I can do nothing but thank God and cry at the same time.
She says her friend, Brandon Whitsett, a Viger graduate, was also injured and is still in the hospital in New Orleans. She believes the truck hit him. She says 2 of her other friends were also hurt, but not seriously.
I'm just thankful. It could have been worse. Like, when people was coming to the hospital, they were looking for their family members, and some of them weren't even there. They were dead. So they was just telling them, like, sorry for your loss, and they would just bust out crying. So I couldn't do nothing but thank God that I only got shot in my foot.
I did not want to be one of them parents that calling me to bury my baby. That's what I didn't want to see. I'm just glad that you called me and said it was her foot and not her dead.
Tragic. Thank God she survived. Thank God. It's wild out here, man. A lot of people don't want to call this man a terrorist because, well, he's a person of color. That man's a terrorist, man. Anybody can be a terrorist. Straight up, man. People out there, please be safe. Be safe out there in these streets, man. You don't know what people are going through or how they're going to flip out. Please be on point, man. Look out for yourself and look out for the others that surround you. Till next time, man. Later. And fuck that nigga.